Walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all.
At Grand Canyon University, we equip students with knowledge of the Christian worldview and help them find their purpose. This means that we weave faith into the structures that uphold our mission. Our faith foundation is built from our Christian convictions, Christ-focused curriculum, and a faith-based service.
We call this One Foundation, which serves as the bedrock of our community. This foundation guides us towards faithfulness, excellence, and a service to God and our neighbors, with an intention to welcome all individuals on campus and in the classroom, no matter their background or what they believe.
I think gathering people from different worldview perspectives is important because it means that we're not just sharing what we believe, but why we believe it. I have people from different religions and people with no religion in my classes. And so when I talk about Christ, I'm always aware that it's not just this is what we believe, but why does the Christian worldview embrace this? As long as you do it with a lot of love and respect for each other, it makes for a really interesting class experience.
Being offered a different worldview that's presented in a way that's loving has shaped me personally. Engaging with different faith traditions and doctrines that GCU presents offers just more opportunity for you to explore life and explore and engage things that you otherwise wouldn't have gone.
To gain insight on our impact, we reached out to our community of students and faculty with a One Foundation survey focusing on their experience of faith in action in our classrooms and beyond. Our participants included both campus students and online and evening students.
Among these traditional participants, over 84% identified as Christian, and over 78% non-traditional participants identified as Christian. We found that over 91% of campus students had a positive perception of our One Foundation, and over 93% of online and evening students had a very positive one.
One of the things at GCU is we do not say to be at GCU, you have to be a Christian. And because of that, we have some pretty interesting class discussions. I start off by telling people we are a Christian university, we're going to be teaching from a Christian perspective, but that does not mean that you aren't free to be who you are.
What we do a good job at this university is seeking to help people think through some of the practical side of, if I were to believe this about the Christian worldview, what might it look like as a nurse? What might it look like as an accountant? What might it look like as an elementary school teacher?
I teach Christian worldview, and having a class full of students from very different backgrounds, Christians and non-Christians of every stripe you can imagine, it's actually been pretty cool because they get dialogue in the class and they get to talk to each other, and they realize, one, not everyone sees the world the same way, but it helps them to realize how they can have meaningful relationships even when people have very different worldviews.
Our university believes in the power of prayer to foster academic, spiritual, and personal growth. Professors encourage and inspire students both in and out of the classroom. They lead with grace and kindness as a way to guide and support students and make them feel valued during each stage of their time here. In our survey, we were pleased to find that over 85% of all students answered yes to the question, has your faith grown while at GCU?
The way my faith has really grown at GCU has been really phenomenal in the sense of I've seen how I came in here with my own worldview and Christian tradition. However, since GCU is interdenominational, I was able to experience other faith traditions. It humanizes those views, and it's more compelling and profound to see those views not as false doctrine, but see those views as a human being. And thus, really softened my heart with a ton of humility and has sparked so much wonder and curiosity.
I think my faith will continue to grow as I serve at GCU because the generations continue to change. So I'm always needing to read and to learn more about how to keep Christ relevant to them. So that causes me to keep growing.
Creating a classroom space that allows all students, especially the non-Christian students, in a class dedicated to Christian worldview can be pretty challenging, but creating opportunities to dialogue with their classmates, presenting materials in a way that they know that although I'm convinced of the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, it's also an opportunity to get to know them and their views and why they hold the views they hold. And so you can show them interest in their life, a true compassion for their experience, and then you connect them to people that also care about them. It creates an opportunity to be open without fear of judgment, but yet give them a sense that there is hope even when they don't have hope because their worldview isn't providing it.
We are committed to helping students by cultivating faith-oriented settings that align with our Christian beliefs, faith-focused practices, and values-based curriculum. Survey results showed that over 93% of campus students had a positive perception of GCU's ability to develop a Christian culture, and around 92% of online and evening students shared that perception with a very positive response.
There are so many events here at GCU. We have chapel, we have concerts, we have the gathering. Where I have really gotten involved is with our missions program. I've led mission trips to Peru and Ecuador and Spain, and that's sort of a continuation of the campus. We get to see students' lives really transformed.
The way I've seen GCU cultivate me in, oneness in Christ has really been founded within what GCU has to offer in its programs with Department of Spiritual Life and the College of Theology, as well as being plugged into a life group. GCU is such a beautiful grounds of having Christ-likeness because it's actually mirroring what Paul was describing in 1 Corinthians, which is there's many members of the faith, but we are unified in Christ Jesus. And so I think it's beautiful to see and an attempt to see how GCU strives for that unity in Christ.
Finding your purpose is a journey. Students learn to be true to themselves and discover who they want to be while identifying their personal convictions and beliefs. Supporting our students during their journey is one of our highest values. Positive survey responses indicated that over 91% of all students felt well supported in our process of learning and applying key principles of the Christian worldview. Our hope is that our university can continue to strongly support and guide all students throughout their experiences here.
One of the ways that I actively seek to integrate faith in the classroom is I start every class with prayer. I simply ask God to help me, to help them, to provide clarity.
It is really hard to bring unity, Christ-like foundation to an institution that is so diverse, that is so different in how people engage each other. Various denominations, various worldviews, various religions, and yet they're able to somehow, in a sense, make it work. And I think that's a healthy way and a good way to see how one foundation is making it possible to something that is impossible for many places.
I love the fact that every day I get to drive to a place where I can live out my Christian faith, teach with passion about Jesus Christ, and do it in a way that is engaging and interesting and very respectful, even for those who don't believe yet. I love my students. And so every day I get into my car, I can't wait to get to work. This is more of a call than work. And because of our focus on one foundation or Jesus, I think that makes that possible.